Oh, Craig, come back to me at Christmas time, Swan. Swanee, see if you look just down to my right there. Do you see my wee disco Santa by the fire? It's now officially Christmas time, and Hearts have just gone to Celtic Park and got a win. Can we now say that Hearts are involved in a title race?
Yes. I think we can. But still no Christmas, Keith. Come on, you can have a unboxing day. Listen. Yes, I'm sure we'll get it in some depth. But I think if anybody, I think today was a real big day. Listen, we're going to get into it, as I say, but today was a big day in terms of the next steps in the season, I think. Absolutely. For everybody, I think if Celtic go and win the game comfortably today, and Hearts take a defeat, and all of a sudden Celtic are 3 clear with a game in hand, you're kind of thinking, already looking dodgy now. I mean, you have to remember Celtic have still got a game in hand, but a massive day just in terms of belief for Hearts and what it does for them. So, we'll get into it. So, charge on, boys. Hit me with what you've got.
Completely agree, Swanee. If Celtic win that one today, it just feels like you're watching the same old Christmas movie, and you know how it ends. So I think for Hearts to go there, that was a statement result, a statement win, and I think it really throws the gauntlet back down. And I did say going into this game, I felt that Hearts had been, I don't know, maybe distracted by the fact that they were looking down from the top for such a long time, and at one point being so high up. I just felt this was an obvious game for them, just to get all that stuff out of the side view mirrors, if you like, and concentrate in the game of football in front of them. And they did it. And I have to say, tactically, absolutely superb. That was Del McInnes and his textbook rope-a-dope way of performing and winning games against the big two. And do you know something? Well, I'm sure we'll come into it, Daniel. There's a really bad start for Wilfried Nancy, because I think he was completely outmanoeuvred by the man in the opposing dugout today.
Well, first on that, I want, Swanee, what's your thoughts on Wilfried Nancy changing the formation? He'd been in the door 2 days. On the show last week, I said, I think it was to Ryan McDonald, that I'd be really surprised if he tried that. But he did, and I mean, obviously it didn't really come off.
I mean, there's 2 or 3 aspects to this whole thing. To answer sort of the first part of your question, am I surprised he did it? Yes. Given the fact that Celtic had been winning games, we're on a run of form, and this was such a big game, so I'm surprised from that point of view. On the other hand, I understand new managers coming in, they have their system, that's what they want to do, that's it, that's the way I play, and I'm going to impart it immediately. I'm going to put it onto the team immediately, because the quicker I do it, the quicker I get my ideas across. So I can see both sides of it. I thought it was a risk. It was a risk, but the result tells you it didn't pay off. And Celtic were good for 40 minutes. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, good intensity in the game. They got things right in terms of their tempo and the way they got after, the way they got the ball back. They were good at that. They hunted in packs and they won the ball back. But you could just see with the patterns of play, there was little moments where people were kind of stopping on the ball and kind of pointing and looking and just not quite sure. And it's going to take time for things like that to bed in. And I think Wilfried Nancy said after the game, it's not about systems, it's not about that type of thing. So it's about players. But if you're asking me, on one hand, I'm surprised he did it. I certainly wouldn't have done it, but then again, I'm not the Celtic manager. He's clearly wanted to try and impart his ways very quickly on it, but it was a risk. It was a risk given the fact that Celtic have been racking up results.
Yeah,
it was a risk to do it, and it's and whatever you say about how they played for the first until Claudio Braga scored, even you could say doesn't matter. None of that matters. Hearts have won, and in the second half, Hearts had it under complete control. I think that was the most surprising aspect for me, that Celtic just didn't really seem to have any sort of response, or whether that's players, tactics, whatever way you want. Hearts were completely controlled after the interval. They just looked as though they were handling everything with a minimum of stress, to be honest.
Yeah.
Keith, I've never seen a Celtic team, in as long as I can remember, more desperate for a striker.
Look, Daniel, I'm going to take a different view to Swanee, and I don't like doing that because he knows his stuff better than me. I just felt in that first half I wasn't impressed with Celtic. We're going to roll out cliches here, one being obvious that goals change games. And if Dyson Maeda takes 1 and 2 chances to come his way in the first 10 minutes, 1 8 minutes in, 1 9 minutes in, should probably score at least 1, probably 2. And if he gets one of them, then it's a different game, because then Derek McInnes needs to change. But Derek McInnes, to me, he's admitted after the game, or even before the game, that he knew Celtic were working on going to a back three. So there's an issue, right? Now, this is a guy who is famous for having a network of people, right? And if you remember Barry Ferguson's first game in charge of Rangers last season, before he got on the bus to go down to Rugby Park, Derek McInnes knew what Barry Ferguson's starting 11 was, right? So that's clever. It's good. You've got to use everything you can get to your own advantage. But Derek McInnes set up knowing what Nancy was going to do, and he come up with the rope-a-dope system of how to beat it. Give up the wide areas. Let Celtic get overloads down each side. Just man up your penalty box. Get bodies in there, because if Celtic have got men overloading out in the wide, you're going to outnumber them where it matters, which is in the penalty box. And time after time, Celtic, got into wide areas, got crosses in. But who are you aiming for in there? Dyson Maida against Craig Halkett and Stuart Finlay. I thought there was that couple of scares that Hearts had early in the game. If Celtic score, it's a different match. But they didn't. And from that moment, from 10 minutes on, I felt Hearts were completely comfortable with everything that Celtic were doing in front of them. Completely comfortable. And always looked as if they could spring on the break. And that's what the team was set up and designed to do. And that's exactly what they did. And I just felt, from 10 minutes into this game, I think Hearts knew that they had a very good opportunity. If they executed the plan right, they had a very good opportunity to take 3 points. And I think